So right now, I feel like I'm stuck between 5 and 10K a month. I would love to get up to closer to like 20 or 25K.
95% of folks has less to do with connecting the wrong people and has more to do with their follow-up and how they manage sales. Right now, I see there's two mechanisms you have to pay attention to the most possible, right? Within 60 days, there's no reason why you're not at that 25K plus mark. If you follow this science, you'll freaking crush it. This conversation with Johnny, he's stuck between 5 and 10 grand, and he's convinced the way out is bigger clients, it's higher prices, it's more webinars. Seen it hundreds of times. And so I told him what no one else wants to hear. I told him if he doesn't fix this engine now, he's just gonna be in this like loop forever. So stick with me as I walk through with him exactly what I would do in this scenario.
When I first started, my first business coach told me we charge anywhere between $1,200 to $2,200 for 3 to 6 months. Which at the time was like, oh shit, that's awesome. That's so cool. But then I started realizing I don't want to have this many clients at once. And so I upped my prices to 5K. And some people were like, that's ridiculous. We can't do that. And other people were,
how long?
For 6 months.
Okay.
And I've never had a client like complain that they never got the results that they wanted. So I was like, I feel like the value of this needs to be much higher. And so I invested in another business coach about 2 years ago. I don't know if you know Josh 40.
I know Josh. Yeah.
I've been working with him the last year and a half-ish to 2 years. And he was like, dude, you need to bump that up to 10K. And I was like, let's go. Let's do it. And so he helped me start a podcast. Since then, I've gotten maybe 2 10K clients and about 5 to 6 5K clients. It's good, but like I know I can do more. The problem is right now I don't have any kind of like process or system that I can do on repeat. The only thing that's working really well right now is I'm a mentor with this veteran transitioning organization called 7 Eagle Group. That's great. The thing is, I pay them $300 a month to go on for a 30-minute presentation.
Yeah, you're sponsoring.
Right. And usually I get close to 5 or 10 booked calls immediately after that. And out of those 5 to 10 booked calls, I usually land 1 to 2 5K clients.
Okay.
So, which is great, right? So right now I feel like I'm stuck between 5 and 10K a month, and I would love to get up to closer to like 20 or 25K per month.
The goal is top line 25 grand.
Right.
Okay.
So if I can, so if I'm thinking if I can get a 5K client every week or 2 10K clients a month, even that would be a nice step.
Well, let's think about this in MRR, okay? Because one thing I feel that folks in this model, and you're experiencing this, it sounds like, so your program is 5K, 6 months, or it's 10K for 6 months, right?
Right.
So this is a very standard model, or like, over the last couple of years, it's been very standardized, so to speak, right? You're charging 5 to 10 grand for the first 6 months. And then you're letting them know, like, the expectation in the sales call, like, that's just the start, because there's so much work to get you going. After that 6 months, it's like, man, we're going to keep growing, but you're gonna be able to do way more on your own, which is why I only charge you this $500. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. So there's something there, because having only, right now you got 30% of your folks staying on longer term with you. We need to know that number. So I want you to be thinking about that number every month of like, how many people are what's my retention? What's my long-term revenue? Because the goal here is if you can think about like this, right? Like if you can get 30 people on that program, now you only need to sell 1 person every single month new. Right now, I see there are two mechanisms you have to pay attention to the most possible, right? And really, we'll call it 3. So 1 is how many new relationships am I creating every month? Right now, it sounds like your biggest strategy is the podcast, right?
Right.
Okay, so number 1 is new relationships, all right? Then number 2 is converting those relationships. And then number 3 is converting these guys into the long term. The number 1 thing here is that we've got to be tracking all of this data. Every single month, you should have your own monthly report that you're creating for yourself so you can see, am I getting better? Am I getting worse? And you also, you don't want to change 10 things at once because you don't know which of the 10 things works, right? There's 3 different elements here. Let's start at the top here. These relationships you're doing, because one thing I hear you saying, I need to sell more of the people that I've got. Is that correct?
Yeah. The issue that I've had over the last few years is it that I'm not able to sell to the connections that I have, or am I connecting with the wrong people?
At 95% of folks, it has less to do with connecting with the wrong people and has more to do with their follow-up and how they manage sales.
All right, listen closely here. He's about to explain why he only wants a few big clients. It sounds smart, but it might just be the reason he's stuck.
Because the only reason I joined Josh, and the whole reason that he was able to pitch me well enough for me to invest in him, was I told him, like, I make so many connections, I have so many conversations, it's overwhelming, but all of them are like, oh, $200 a month, that's crazy, I can't afford that. I get a lot of those people, and I'm like, I don't want to sell to you, and I also don't even want to work with you. It's not worth my time. So I would rather have 10 clients pay me $10K, and I focus 100% of my time on my 10 clients versus having 30 clients pay me little.
All right, this is good. This is good because you're saying a couple of things here that matter, Johnny. Number one is, correct me if I'm wrong, you just said that I talk to all these people, I have a lot of conversations, and they tell me that it's not worth $200.
Right.
All right, pay attention here. It's the one question that everyone should be asking themselves, and nobody does, but it changes everything.
Now, let me ask you, be honest. Did they actually tell you that, or is that what you feel they're saying because they're not signing up and not responding?
No, like, I'll hop on calls with them, and then when I pitch like 5K, they're like, that's way out of my price point. And I'm like, well, let's talk about some budgeting. And they're like, the most I could do is 200 because of car payments and my dog, and I have surgery and my car. And like, there's all these different things that they have payments for. It's like, this isn't worth their time.
And how many people have you talked to about signing up for your program over the last 2 years?
100 to 200.
Okay. So how many folks, so what CRM right now are you using to like keep up with these people, follow up with these folks?
I usually make a note somewhere about, we'll reach out to this person, or I have like an Excel spreadsheet. Like, I write down all these people's names and numbers and emails as well. But, all right, well then every few weeks, every few months, I send them an email or I send them a personalized message to be like, hey, remember us talking about X, Y, and Z? Are we still doing that or what?
Okay, Johnny, you're doing what 90% of us do. I promise you, right? Like, we are hardworking. We try to do the right thing. We try to take notes. We try to follow up. We do the, like, you probably, like most of us, once you get told, maybe later next month, no, we kind of slowly stop, following up. You probably don't have, like, do you have any type of CRM where you're keeping track of all these folks, or just the goal is to put them into Facebook?
All right, watch what he says here when I ask about tracking leads. He does the same thing that so many other people are doing, and it's costing you so much money.
No, I don't really have anything in particular for that.
All right, that's all right. Okay, I'm going to tell you something, Johnny, and I swear to you, it's just like, dude, it's just like freaking health, right? Like, is this rocket science what you teach? Like, no, it's about calories. There's a science, there's just a mathematical equation to this stuff, right? Like, it's not, you can take anyone probably that's got 40% body fat and get them to 30, as long as they just do a few simple things, right?
Right.
Okay, sales is the exact same thing. And I'm going to tell you what you have to do. And I promise you, you have no worry about all this stuff, because you're right. You do need a better system for sales, but a lot of times we overcomplicate that. We're looking for some type of like secret system. And I promise you, it's not that hard. Consistently with folks, just like you're coaching someone, I'm not going to coach you on it like day to day, but like when I have coached folks and we've done this on a daily basis, within 60 days, there's no reason why you're not at that 25K plus mark. What I call my hot list. All right. Are you a Google Sheets person?
I have a hit list.
You have a hit list? Tell me about it.
Yeah. It's a 30-person hit list, but it actually has over 100 people.
Okay. So tell me what the columns are. You don't have to show it to me. Just tell me what the columns are.
Name, like what they do, and like how I can connect with them. Like Facebook, email, phone number. And then, do they know me or not? Like, do they know who I am and what I do, or do they have no idea who I am?
Okay, that's fine. You're missing the most two important things here. Okay. So, and then I'm going to teach you like the system and the format. So I want you to add another column to it. The other column, or two more columns. One column is next step. That is going to be a date formula, or it's going to be a date in that column. And I want you to create a formula, Johnny. If the due date is past, in other words, the next step is tomorrow, or the next step is Wednesday, it goes past, I want you to make it where it turns red. If it's the day, it turns dark green, and then whatever color you have is neutral. And here's what I want you to do, Johnny. Where we mess up, man, is we don't have a plan to follow up every single person. You said you have 100 folks, 200 folks that you've talked to. You've had 25 podcasts. Every freaking one of them, Johnny, I want you, dude, you're so good at relationships. You and I have had several conversations just on fit. You're so good at it. And I'm a numbers guy, and I'm also a relationship guy, and I hate sales. So this is not sales. This is how we close deals, all right? I want you to add the date, right? Like next step. And every freaking one of these, I don't care if it's next week, next month, or next whatever. If they tell you no, Johnny, don't close at loss. What are you going to do? Put the follow-up 9 months from now.
A no? It's almost never a no. It's a not right now with a follow-up date attached. I want you to give every single contact a next step, and half of them might turn into yeses next year.
Right? Like, I don't care, but every single person. And then the next column is going to be just notes. When I have that in that notes, I don't go to my CRM because it's too hard for me as the owner. I'm going to put today's date. I'm going to put 6-24 and then I'm going to, send a message to Johnny, just wished him happy birthday. He told me that his kid, he's expecting his first kid in 3 months. And then that's it. Like, I just write it, and then I put my follow-up date in 3 weeks to see how his wife's doing. Dude, we got to be in this nature, Johnny, of having conversations. Now, here's the deal. You're only going to be able to manage, you're good at communicating. You're going to be able to manage 400 of these. Like, your list is going to get to 400. Some you're talking to 6 months, some 3 months, some every week, depends on where they're at, right? Once it gets to 400, then what we're going to be is like, I got to get more efficient. I can't just go to 500. I need 400 better people. So every day at that moment, I'll add 5 new ones to the list, and I'll take off 5 that just like, there's nothing going to happen here. Okay. And then Johnny, here's the system. Every single day, this is what I do. And millions in sales every single day. It's the same thing, right? So number one, I'm going to make my post on Facebook. So I schedule them out. I do 30 minutes every morning. I make 6 posts. All right. You can do whatever number you want. That's what I do, 6. Then I go to my Facebook group and I'll post in there. I got to do 2 of those a day. The next thing I have to do is I add 5 people to my hot list. Now you can get those, Johnny. Write this down. I want to go back into your proposals. Every proposal you've sent, they should be added back to your hot list because I want you following up with them. There's a reason why they jumped on a call with you, right? And again, it doesn't have to be a hard pitch. It could be a conversation, but don't shy away from, selling, right? The next can be people that you obviously have 25 from your podcast. Then you got your Facebook group. Then you have random friends. You got me on the list. You got all these folks are on your freaking list, right? We're going to add 5 a day, every freaking day, right? So 5 a day, that's 100 a month. Every couple weeks or every week, like you're on their radar. There's no way 100 people, you don't close 2 of them.
The thing I think that I'm not doing is keeping track of all these people. Like, I have all these conversations. Yesterday, I had a presentation with the veteran organization, and I got like 20 new connections on LinkedIn. And then usually what I do is I send every single one of them, thank you for being on the call. What did you find most valuable? And then I just start a conversation. And then if I see that it's going to go somewhere, I'll find their email and I'll put it in my hit list. Beyond that, I don't follow up with them as often as I should, I guess, but
I know it's not a guess for me, Johnny. I promise.
This is like an organic system, right? It's like every day I'm adding 5 people. I got to put in a little note, reach out to them at this date, and then I got to do it. And it's like,
because there's no way you're going to remember 500 people. Like, I guarantee you right now, if we went back in time 2 months ago, you had 3 people on your list. They were like, dude, I know they could close. And then they didn't for some reason. And now we're 90 days later. And they were like super hot 3 months ago, but 9 days later, you haven't talked to them in 45 days. So all you're going to do from a system is you're going to post 6 times a day. I want you to, if you really want to do this, I want you to go comment 20 people, just out in the world of Facebook. And I want you to add 5 people every day to your list. And then by the end of the day, there's no red.
All right, guys, here's something I've learned after years of this. The deal you think died might not actually be dead. It's waiting of a follow-up that you never sent. Your calendar closes way more sales than your pitch ever will.
the next thing is that I want to think about the conversion to your long-term offer. You just got done telling me that everyone is super happy and super excited and they have tons of results. Why are they not out in that long-term? And it's only one of three things. Either one, the positioning of the offer is off. So I want you to just think about that, maybe test around with it, right? So it's just like swimming. There's one of three things that's wrong, but we got to figure this out, right? One is the positioning of the offer is not wrong. All right. Number two is that you need to increase your value. So for these guys, I just got done working with Johnny. I went from 22% body fat to 12% body fat. My wife is in more love with me than ever. Guys are commenting, on me at the gym. Like I feel like, and I paid 10 grand. I'm not willing to pay 500. Why? It's either one of two things. So we're not communicating right, or we are communicating perfectly, but the value's not there. Or two, the price is just too high. Okay, cool. So even then, right, I would rather have 80% of my folks renewing and staying on at $400 or at $350 than I would 30% at $500. So again, I'm not saying to change either one. What I'm saying is it's one of three things. We're not communicating it accurately. The value's not there for the price. It's communicated perfectly. The value's not there for the price, or the price is too high for the value.
All right, guys, when someone says you're too expensive, they're rarely talking about your price. They're talking about the value that they can see. You fix the picture, not the number.
The thing is, I don't want to have 30 clients paying me $300 a month. It's just a lot of work. Like I can't have a coaching call with 30 people every week. That's crazy.
No. We're talking about the back end, right? You said it was once a month.
Right.
All right, watch right here. Watch how I solve this problem. Most owners, we think scaling is just about more hours and magnitude, but I'm about to prove the opposite.
So most of these programs work, most of them work, and they're all like configured a little bit, is it's the 10,000 up front, which is the one-on-one coaching, and then it turns into group coaching and group consulting. I think there's a point where you lower that down, the long term, the long tail part of this, the second stage. I think there's a moment where you lower that to like, we do 2 group calls a week. We do your blood testing, which, we can automate through some other technologies and systems. Like we can build that out where it's still value, but it's like, it doesn't take your one-on-one time. Shoot.
Right.
We can hire a coach, $500 a month times 30 people is 15,000. Can you find a coach to have those one-on-one? How much do you think that would cost us? Nothing. $50 an hour? Like it'd be nothing, right? So like there's a way, but you need that residual income or else you're going to be selling every month for the rest of your life.
Right. The thing I do on sales calls too is I ask them, have you ever worked with a trainer before? And a lot of times they're like, no. And I say, well, just to put it in perspective, if you go to any gym and sign up with a trainer, they're charging you $100 an hour. So if you're trying to work out 3 times a week, that's over $1,000 a month. And I'm only asking for 500 and they're still resistant on it. So now I don't know if it's the perceived value that I'm not showing, or if they just don't have the money, like they're not willing to spend it. They don't care.
You're going to figure this out. And so it is one of those 3 things. I think based on what you're telling me that we need to increase the value a little bit. Like we can always start charging more one day, right? Right now, I want to get you what's the easiest path to getting the 25 grand? That's all I care about. Don't think about the million. What's the easiest path to the goal that you told me? 50 people to pay 500? Would it be easy to get 60 people to pay you 400 or whatever it is? Like what's the easier number to get to over the next 90 days? Once you hit that 25 grand, now we're going to have another call and we're going to talk about how do I go and start uplifting these fees, because that's a whole nother strategy in and of itself.
Well, the easiest would be out of the 100 people on my hit list to get 5 people to pay me $5K up front. For 6 months.
That's the upfront thing. I'm caring about the long term, Johnny.
Right.
So again, I don't want you to need 5K tomorrow and then 5K next month and then starts over the next month and starts over next month. You're going to be, dude, you're just going to kill yourself 12 months from now. What I care right now in this conversation, we already discussed, you're going to do what you just said. You're going to talk to 100 people. You're going to use this hot list like crazy, and you will sell 5 people at the 5 to 10 grand. I have no doubt about that. But if you're not converting them to the long-term MRR, you're going to be in this perpetual cycle forever, and it's going to suck.
Would you say you make most of your money from clients who have been with you longer than upfront clients, or
$1,000,000,000%?
Here's the moment. It flips the conversation. And there's a lot of coaches that disagree with me, but I admit this about even one of my own companies. Guys, if you sell one-time offers, check this out.
Dude, I don't even do one-time revenue. There is nothing about any of our companies Appreciation at work has a couple of things where it's one time. There's nothing about any of our stuff that doesn't have MRR, long-term recurring revenue.
So
in most businesses, by the way, again, think about businesses that like recurring is the most valuable business because it's predictable. You can grow and scale on it. You can recruit on it. You can hire on it, right? Like and so you really want to think about how to get them. And I don't care if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter to me on that, right? Well, we need to build a package and a value that you can scale on the back end to get people into.
All right, let me give you the one number that changes everything. It's not what you charge up front, it's what still shows up the next month. Predictability beats big every single time.
So the upfront can be whatever, but it's more about having them stay on long term.
100%. I can serve 50 people in healthcare at $500 a month, I think, easier than I can sell 5 people at 5,000 and then do it again every
month. Yeah, that's my problem. That's the only reason I was thinking about doing webinars is so to get 50 to 100 people in the webinar and then hopefully close 3 to 4 of them at 5K.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Johnny, but it's also better for the client, right? This whole conversation is about how I make the most money. But like, think about me and my fitness journey. If I'm like, okay, I really want to get into fitness and I trust Johnny, Johnny's going to tell me what to do. He's not just trying to sell me into the next thing. He really cares about my fitness journey. I think we could agree that these 6 months, like it's a lot of work. You've got to be on top of me. You're going to be like texting me and coaching me and like mentoring, you're going to be up my butt, right? And that takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. But after 6 months and I build these habits, Johnny, I think you know that you could actually help me just as much with a fraction of the effort.
This next line is a real block. It's not about money. It's about the story that he keeps telling himself. And so many of us struggle with the same thing.
Clients meet their goal within the 6 months. And my whole